Alright, Savage GM, Brandon Geringer coming back to you with another book, Between Star and Void by Matthew Skail, James Spahn. This is for White Star, and this is 106 pages, and it says, Discover the secrets hidden between Star and Void. This is an add-on for White Star that is all about the Star Knight and the Way. The Way is, in essence, the good side of the Force, and the Void is going to be the dark side, if you want to kind of correlate it with Star Wars. So right off the bat, this it touched a little bit about the history of the Way, just a page and a half really, and then it's going to go into the character classes. It's going to reprint the Star Knight class, so you've got that. So if you're playing a Star Knight, this is going to be kind of your go-to book at the table for all things Star Knight. So you've got your Star Knight, reprinted from the main White Star book right here that you've seen if you've watched the videos, and then it's got a class called the Mystic. And the Mystic is going to be less about martial prowess and abilities and more about using meditations. They get up to level 5 meditations. And they also get a couple of gifts too. Not very many of them, but they get to use a couple of the gifts that are in White Star. Then you've got a class called the Star Pilot. It's obvious they're later on in levels, they get very powerful, but they're going to be a way to use the Way to help specialize them with flying spaceships. They sacrifice swordsmanship for their ability to be very good with a ship and to pilot them. And then the next one is going to be your Way Adept. Now the Way Adept class is awesome. In essence, it's an add-on class. So let's say you're playing an aristocrat. You could be a aristocrat Way Adept. So what it's going to do is you're going to add, when you go up in level, you're going to add more experience to go up in level. But when you do, let's say like your second level, you're going to add, once you get 500 more experience, you'll level up in the Way Adept, and you'll start getting abilities from both classes. So you take the aristocrat's experience levels, and 500 more, you get a Way Adept. So that's how much you'll get to level up in both those classes. It's going to cost you more, but you'll in essence be able to, you're multi-classing. And so that gives you the abilities of the Way as well as the class that you originally already had. So I really like that. Then there's Alien Star Knights, so where you have the Alien Mystics in regular White Star. This allows for you to play an alien. That's a Star Knight. You get to choose 2 different kind of racial alien abilities, such as aquatic, angry, armored, fast, night vision, quick reflexes, stealthy. So kind of make your own little alien there with a couple of cool little powers as well. Next is going to go into meditation, so it reprints all the meditations from White Star, and it also adds on 21 new meditations. From levels 1 to 5, you're going to get new meditations that you can use. So right there, this is already, this is a helpful book, for your White Star plan. And then it's going to start adding some more stuff to the game, which is where this book really starts to get great. It's going to have some optional rules in here, but it's going to be up to you whether or not you think you want to use them. I think they're pretty cool. Martial styles for the Star Knight. In essence, you learn different types of fighting styles. And there are 8 different styles. You're going to start off with a basic one, and then it's going to cost you experience and training time and credits, and you're going to learn more styles. Pretty much the first style is going to be kind of your default one, and you're going to be able to get your strength bonus to hit and damage if your strength's high enough, obviously. And then you've got a second style, and you're going to have a bonus to armor class when you use that style. So you can see how it's going to go on and on, doing different things. You can go into style, it's called style 4, Karat Mon is what it's called, and you're going to go into a Void Rage. You get +2 to hit, -2 to armor class. So each one you can learn different types of styles how to fight and use them. One of them is going to be using 2 Star Swords at the same time. So that's obviously very cool. It's called the Twin Star style, and you can use obviously a blade in each hand. Then you're going to go into things called Star Sword techniques, and these are actual Star Sword attacks that are different, or uses that are different, such as Blade Drop, Reflecting Defense, Blurring Strike, Throw Your Star Sword. So those kind of neat martial abilities that you can use. And next, it's going to go to a section that's all about Star Sword construction, telling you how to make a Star Sword, modifying Star Swords, what modifications you may be able to do to a Star Sword, and how difficult it may be to keep adding modifications, how much time and how much it's going to cost. Some of the modifications are like +1 to hit with accurate, armor piercing, ignores 2 points of armor class, Brutal gets +1 damage. So there, right there, you're having fun stuff to add on to your Star Sword. Very small section on campaigns, like what type of campaigns you could have with a Star Knight, or any of them. I'm just going to use Star Knight in general, even though there's other classes that obviously are Star Knight, in their powers. So it's going to tell you a couple, galactic troubleshooters, keepers of ancient knowledge, galactic police. There's a bunch of different types of campaigns you can have. It's a small section, but I think it's pretty good. And then it's going to go into a great section called the Void. It's going to explain to you about the Void, in essence, the dark side. It's going to tell you about corruption, dark side points, if you've played D6 Star Wars or other Star Wars games. And it's going to kind of give you the reasons why how you can get corruption points. It's going to tell you about Eclipse Nights, and now Eclipse Nights are kind of in the middle. They are Star Knights that have used the empowerments, the evil meditations of the Void, and they're dabbling. They're in that middle zone, that gray zone, because what you can do is you can switch out a meditation to use an empowerment. It's going to give you corruption points, and it's going to push you more towards the Void. There's a roll to see whether or not you go over to the Void, and of course if that happens you lose your character. Pretty much they become an NPC. So that's for those players that like to dabble in a little bit of the mix of both. And sometimes with other Star Knights they may shun those people because they know that they've dabbled in the Void. And then you're going to have an area to how do you remove corruption, doing good deeds, going on great quests, a great sacrifice or something to get rid of those corruption points. And then it's going to have the stats for an actual Void Knight. And think of this as a Jedi Knight. So obviously they're going to start off at 5 hit dice, and that goes all up to 10 hit dice, and it shows what their attacks are, how much experience they get, and then it's going to go into Void Knight empowerments, pretty much their meditations. So it's got a whole list of empowerments for them, and obviously these are the abilities, the meditations you can switch out if you want to use them, it's going to make you become an Eclipse Knight. So neat thing there for those game masters who want to create a cool nemesis of a Void Knight or something, an Eclipse Knight that is going over to the Void, and you can use some of those empowerments, or if you want to kind of test some of your players and see if they're going to use some of those empowerments. It's got a whole section on equipment that Star Knights could use. It's such as a normal Star Sword, the double Star Sword, Star Lance, new abilities like that, as well as crystals that can be used, obviously, to used on focus meditations, double durations of meditations, how much they cost, obviously, improving of healing attempts, a whole bunch of different things, kind of like small magical items or scrolls, if you wish. Got a bunch of kids here, so that's why the crying's from. But so next you have Ships of the Way. These are going to be ships that are obviously used by Star Knights and Star Pilots and stuff like that. Next is going to be the whole new section, and if anything in this book that I really, really like is this is an optional way to do meditation and to do the abilities of the Star Knight. So you're going to kind of scrap the old way, and it's optional, and try out this new way. What's called Focus Meditation System, and what it is it's going to be, instead of just getting meditations that are kind of like spells in other games, you're going to focus yourself on a certain way. And there's different types of ways. Your first way that you're going to pick is going to be your Primus, and then Secondus is going to be your second one, and you'll have a third one, a fourth one, a fifth one. You're going to have a bunch. The Mystic goes all the way up to 6 different types, and the Star Knight only gets 5. Okay, so in the way Adept only gets 3. So that shows you how the Mystics can really branch out and get more meditations, more abilities and stuff. So, like I said, instead of casting meditations, your prime, let's say you're going to pick a way, all right? It has a whole section of ways. Let's say, I'm sorry, it's not ways, they're called meditations. So like you have meditation of force, all right? So the meditation of force is kind of a flashy power. So you say, my character is going to start off, their Primus ability is going to be meditation of force. And this is going to give them a group of abilities. Lifting objects within 50 feet with your mind, as well as when falling, you can cushion the blow, ignoring damage for the first 10 feet. So that's what you get at pretty much the apprentice level. All right. So what's going to happen is when you go up more and more levels, not only will you get new abilities in that Primus meditation that you've meditations that you chose, those focus meditations. When you get 3rd level, you're going to begin to get the apprentice level at a 2nd meditation grouping. And so when you get 4th level, you'll go up in your Primus one. So it's kind of like this staggered way of leveling up your character, getting more abilities as you level up, instead of using all this meditations, opening up new types of meditations at a kind of a slower rate, but there's no longer this having to decide what meditations you're going to use. And you can have, if you have a campaign that has a lot of Star Knights, this helps really differentiate those characters. Star pilots have their own meditations of, for piloting, and I think it's just a great new way of doing it, that people might be bored of kind of the slots of normal D&D, and this is a different way of kind of doing it. It tells you about how you can stack powers, boosting powers, which is an optional ability, pretty much jumping up on that next level. If you're an apprentice, jumping up to student or teacher. If you're a student, going up to the teacher level. So they all go from apprentice, student, teacher, master, and grandmaster. And of course, you're going to have all the abilities, once you get grandmaster, of that focus meditation. So, you've got meditation of the blade, obviously it's going to be your star sword, meditation of the body, meditation of force, meditation of the mind, meditation of the pilot, and then meditation of the senses, meditation of foresight. Some of those are going to stack, some of them won't. Meditation of the why is going to be a lot of about healing and stuff like that. And then they've got focused void empowerments too, if you want to use that for void characters or NPCs. I personally think that it's a awesome addition to White Star. If I was going to play something, play or run a very Star Knight focused campaign, I would definitely use this, because it just seems like a more, it seems more kind of a natural progression of the Star Knight. Kind of the way that Luke was, and how he was able to progress and get new abilities. That's the same way you're going to be. Instead of just kind of picking and choosing as you go up in level, which ones you have, what you're going to use, I think it just gives a lot more flavor to the Star Knight. And again, lets you differentiate your Star Knight from maybe another character's Star Knight. So if anything in this book, other than the new classes and the 21 new meditations, that focus meditations, that section, the new optional section, is the best thing about this book, hands down, in my opinion. Then it's got a whole section for fantasy conversions, if you want to use the Star Knight, in essence, with a fantasy setting. A mystical warrior, something like that, kind of guidelines, and it's going to give it to you kind of more a basic sense of fantasy. It's going to go all the way up to level 20, and a lot of the abilities and stuff are going to kind of, go up to that level 20. Now, there's one other thing that I forgot to mention, and this is going to be for the Mystic class when it comes to this focus meditation. Because they normally get gifts, they're going to get a thing where they're going to be able to choose every couple levels. Like at level 3, they're going to be able to choose a couple of permanent abilities. You get to choose one from a list. So at level 3, you can choose between Decipher Text, Drowse, Light, and Purify Touch. Level 5, you'll get Float, Key Mastery, Reflection, See the Unseen. Now you get to choose one of those every time you level up, and those are going to kind of be staples for your Mystic, instead of that other way of doing it with just the basic between Star and Void. So yeah, it goes into the fantasy section, and that's just a great section in case you want to take a lot of this stuff over to fantasy. It's got all the different tables and stuff you need for that. A complete modification for making it over into fantasy. And then it's got reaction rolls, in case you like rolling reaction rolls whenever you come across a critter you don't know if you need to kill it or not. The art's got a lot of really great pieces in it. I really like the Void Knight pieces. I'll show you a couple pieces here. It is black and white art, and on a negative sense, there's not too much negative to say about it. This is not obviously a huge production product here. There are a couple of minor little things I have with it, such as occasionally it'll write out armor class, and then later on it'll write out AC. It's just a little nitpick that I have, but I want to tell you everything if you're going to pick up this book, what you may see. I saw one section where there was a little bit of a layout issue. You can see here It's drawn a little bit. This section, this writing here is a little bit larger than the section up here. Just some little layout problems like that. But other than that, I didn't notice too much. Minor typos here and there. All fairly, not a big thing. But it does have some art scattered out throughout it. I do enjoy the some of the Void Knight art that's used, and obviously the Void Knight's something that is not exactly looked into as much, not focused as much, and that's where this book is going to come in very handedly to improve on that with the Void Knights and help you maybe create really good enemies for your players, or maybe player characters. So it does have some art throughout it, not a huge amount, but what it's in there I think is very serviceable, and it's got that OSR flavor. So you can see another picture here. Easy layout, one column, matches with the other games. This is going to be kind of like the Alien Star Knight right here. You see that? Kind of looks like a bunny or a rat or something. But it's got some art that they've been reused from White Star. But like I said, I think this is the Mystic picture there. I think that if you do like Star Knights, you like Jedi, obviously that's where it comes from. This is a no-brainer. You should pick up this book. You're really gonna be able to have a lot of fun, I think, kind of changing the Star Knight and using the different meditations and using that new optional focus meditation section. So there it is. There's Beyond Star and Void. Highly recommend. Pick up. Matthew Scale's got some other White Star books too. I don't have, but looking forward to maybe checking those out in the future. I think there's one called Tools of the World Builders or something like that. So I'm interested in maybe checking out more. Maybe I'll be back with another video for that. Because I do like White Star. The more White Star I read, such as a book like this and some of the other stuff that's out there, the more I want to play it. The more I realize I was wrong with my first impression of it, and I think it's a great game. So yeah, if you like Star Swords, slashing through stuff, and really enhancing that character class and giving you more character classes between Star and Void. All right, thanks guys.